Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kartik.
I'm Luke, and we will be your MCs today for the IPFS and Filecoin Builders Day Summit.
So for those of you who don't know, this event and the summit is part of HackFS, and all of you are watching this on ETHGlobal.tv. So for those of you who are going to be engaging with our speakers, if you have any questions for any of our speakers from our talks, be sure to sign in and ask those questions away, and we'll be able to relay those questions to our speakers. And HackFS is a month-long event where we have a hackathon going on and we have a couple of summits. So for just what's happening on the hackathon side, we have over 650 developers from 61 different countries working on building amazing things in Web3 that use anywhere from storage, decentralized storage to smart contracts. And we can't wait to show you what everybody's building in the next couple of weeks. And also part of the hackathon, we're doing 2 summits to highlight what is happening in the IPFS and Falcon ecosystem. So today is our first summit of this month. This is our Builders Day Summit. And then next Friday, we'll be doing our Storage Provider Summit. So let's just jump right into today's agenda. We're going to kick the day off by doing a keynote from Molly from Protocol Labs, and then we have all these amazing talks lined up. So just to give a quick overview, we'll have Alan talk about Web3.storage and NFT.storage. Then we'll have Jimmy talk about estuary.tech. Then we'll have Dan, who's going to be introducing the Palm sidechain. Then we'll have Ilya from Near talk about how do you enable open web and consumer apps with NFTs. Then we'll have Fast Hack will talk about how do you actually make really large and updatable and extensible NFTs using IPFS. Stefano then will be talking about the Long Hash Web3 Accelerator program that they've been working on. And then we'll have Michelle cover how you can get more involved and get more grants from the IPFS and Falcon ecosystem foundations and just the projects that you're building to get support. And then we'll close the day off by Blake talking about the Basecamp program that they've been working super hard on. So a lot of amazing talks for the next few hours. And without kind of further ado, I want to just kick us off with our very first talk of the day. We have Molly who's going to talk about just what's now possible with Falcon. And just to kind of give a really brief intro, Molly leads the P2P IPFS at Protocol Labs. And I'll stop cutting in her time for our talk and just let her kick it off with today. So welcome, Molly, to the stage, and it's all yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. This is super exciting. I cannot wait to see what everyone is going to build as part of HackFS. And so super excited to get to chat with you today, and feel free to continue the conversation as we go forward, as well as you guys are building things. I have office hours. I'm going to be in Falcon Slack, so feel free to ping me and ask me questions or show me cool demos of what you're doing. I'm excited. Maybe I'll share my screen, and hopefully everyone can see that.
Everything's
excited.
Great.
Perfect. Cool. So what I plan to chat with you about today is really quick overview of the stack, which I think you guys are all familiar with. Dive a little bit into where we were a year ago. It's crazy to think back into where we were in 2020, the year that is falling off of everyone's brains because it didn't exist because of pandemics. But where we were a year ago, how far we've come, where we are now, what's possible to build now, some areas that are really exciting, and some tools that are available to you to build on top of, and then a quick sneak peek into some of the stuff that's coming next. So I work at Protocol Labs. Our mission is to drive breakthroughs in computing technology to push humanity forward. We have built nucleated a number of new protocols and ecosystems trying to make the internet more robust. One of those is P2P, the networking library of Web3, which is used by IPFS, Falcon, Polkadot, Ethereum 2, and many more folks. There's IPFS, which is the data and content platform of Web3, which addresses content by what it is instead of where it's located, and now has this really phenomenal, amazing ecosystem that's grown around it, an amazing community, and it's even now enabled on a number of major browsers, which is super cool. And then, of course, Filecoin, which I'm sure you've all heard about a lot today, which is the storage network of Web3. Its mission to build a decentralized storage network to store humanity's most important information. The network is made up of thousands of storage providers around the world. and it builds this marketplace between applications like all of those amazing groups building on top of IPFS who want storage in a decentralized network and a globally distributed network of storage providers who offer that storage to them. And so to rewind a little bit, the network you know today is still super new. And so where we were last year was a different place. A year ago, I spent most of my time staring at this super fun, snazzy Gantt chart. I don't know if anyone was familiar or part of the Falcon ecosystem back then, but August 2020 we were in the midst of this like space race calibration period. We had not started Space Race, which was the Filecoin incentivized testnet competition that ran for kind of a month before the mainnet started. HackFS had just completed, and there were just a million things to land in order to actually make Filecoin as a network live. So here are some old snapshots I pulled out of old all hands decks that I had from back then. It was like the testnet in August 2020 was like barely limping along. Calibration net had just gotten to 10 petabytes of data. We were like psyched. It was like, oh my gosh, 10 petabytes, that's super cool. Fast forward to today and we blow 10 petabytes out of the water, but that was cool at the time. And Space Race was, in active preparation. We had this kind of calibration Space Race Falcon where we were looking at the deals, storage, and success rates for storage and retrieval across all of the folks who are participating in the Space Race competition. We're like super excited after, tons of time working with groups. Like we've gotten to 72% of storage providers were dialable, which is like really exciting and crazy to think that far back into where the network was back then. A couple other exciting things that were landing in the month of August. Falcon had just implemented EIP 1559 so that we had the gas model, which I believe has just rolled out for Ethereum. So we've been playing around with it for the past year and it's been awesome. Was a big differentiator for us in terms of making sure that like networks and messages and transactions flowed really smoothly within Falcon. Message selection was a big part of that as well. Slate had just shipped building on top of Textile's PowerGate, which was pretty much the builder's tool that was available to people at the time. I think at that point, Textile PowerGate was maybe like a month old and available really just for HackFS developers. And so amazing to see how far the Textile team has come since then in kind of the additional kind of solidity and tooling that they've built on top of this, which is amazing. And then, HackFS had just wrapped up and a ton of amazing projects coming out of HackFS went on to other accelerators to launch into the ecosystem and kind of evolve and continue offering kind of new solutions to people in the Web3 space, which is super cool. Then, fast forward two months into the future, October 15th, the Falcon network went live with mainnet liftoff, which was a really big milestone for a lot of groups, and super excited to kind of like start that new phase of the Falcon journey. And now kind of looking where we are, about 10 months later, the network has already amassed 8 exabytes of storage, over 8 exabytes, which is just crazy to think about. I think this blows my expectations for like where we would have been by end of year 2021, like completely out of the water. And that was even blowing remember 10 petabytes was really exciting back during, early days of the network. So to reach this point is really cool to have amassed all of this storage capacity that's available for Web3 developers, anyone in the wider internet ecosystem who wants to have kind of decentralized storage for their tools and protocols. There's also now, a huge and growing ecosystem, a ton of open source contributors, and a good storage provider community as well. And so to kind of look at that, you can see here that, the amount of available data in the network has been growing a ton. And this is actually already doubled. The storage onboarding rate has doubled just in the past month since the hyperdrive network upgrade that went out in end of June. And so we're now, we're seeing this growth rate continue to ramp up. I think it's likely that we're going to hit 15 exabytes or more by end of year. So it's just a really crazy kind of war chest of data capacity to bring to bear on all of these applications. And as part of that, that's creating a lot of demand amongst the storage provider community for amazing data to store. So lots of groups are really reaching out to folks who can act as really valuable clients, who can bring kind of public data sets into the Filecoin network and demonstrate how amazing this solution is for them. And so definitely, if you are someone who is tooling in those open data set communities, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. As you can see, storage deals as well, utilization of that capacity has been growing super fast. Since like January of this year, it's just like, whatever, 4x, 5x. It's going really growing a lot, which is super exciting, but also we have so much more to do here, and an area that a ton of folks in this space are investing in super hard. The ecosystem has grown massively in just the less than a year that the Falcon network's been live. A ton of amazing partners have joined this awesome ecosystem to help build the network here. And there's now a ton of applications, tools, developer SDKs that are available for you as builders to build on top of and harness as part of your IPFS and Filecoin Web3 builders journey. And so that's actually the thing that I want to spend most of my time today chatting about, which is what's now possible, what can you be building? And I know a ton of folks who are participating here in HackFest actually already had a long chat with Juan about all of the exciting things that could be built here. I know there was a big brainstorm session earlier this week. If you missed it, go check out the video. It's on the ETHGlobal YouTube page. I watched it. I thought it was amazing. I'm super excited about all the stuff you guys are going to be building. But I just wanted to highlight maybe 3 areas which I'm really excited about. And I think there's new tools that have just become available for you to build on top of, and want to make sure that you're all aware of them so that you can, blaze forward in your developer journey, and can kind of build on top of the shoulders of everyone who has come before and focus on really reaching users in the Web3 space, or building the thing that really sings for you, and you don't have to go and kind of reinvent some of the underlying building blocks. And so those 3 areas are: 1, Web3 native dApps on Filecoin, building on top of all of the amazing dev tools from Powergate to Web3 Storage, which just launched last week. Building things around NFTs, NFT marketplaces, minters, galleries on top of Filecoin using NFT.storage, which has been around for a couple of months now and is being used by folks like OpenSea and others. And then building applications around photo, video, large data archives, pulling on some of the amazing kind of pioneering work that Starling and Internet Archive have been doing around using Filecoin as a verifiable storage layer. So those are my 3 areas I'm going to chat with you about. So first, Web3 apps, notably things like Satellite or Audius, are doing an awesome job here in this space. This is a super exciting area, and there's a ton of tools that groups who are excited about building new Web3 dApps can use. I mentioned Slate already. They're an awesome, they have like a whole developer aspect as well. They've created both an application and a ton of building blocks that developers can utilize to kind of leapfrog forward. And so definitely go check out Slate and see if they're a great place to build on top of. I know that folks have probably already seen the talk that Carson gave earlier this week about the work that Textile is doing to bridge Filecoin into various other ecosystems. And so they already have the near bridge set up. I believe they're bringing it to Ethereum and I think it's Polygon in kind of the next short time period. And so this is a really cool kind of leapfrog forward if you're building things kind of in the smart contract space, and you want to take advantage of decentralized off-chain storage because on-chain storage doesn't scale nicely, then definitely go check out what the Textile team has been building. Their implementation of kind of auctions for this data is pioneering and awesome, and we're all like, cheerleading and learning from it and figuring out how we can bring it to more things. And so they're an awesome toolkit. They also, of course, have Powergate 2.0, which, is the iteration from the 1.0 that launched just over a year ago. And so they have a ton of tools here, especially if you're building kind of like a dynamic application on top of Filecoin. Fleek is also an awesome team to look at. They have a files app demonstrating use of the space daemon, which packages together IPFS, text file, and aims to make a really easy developer SDK. If you are doing something that has maybe a static front-end component to a smart contract backend, Fleek is also going to be your best friend when it comes to deploying, say, like a DeFi front end, really smoothly from GitHub. They are kind of your Netlify easy replacement. I can deploy a website on Fleek within like 3 button clicks or something at this point, which is just kudos to that team for doing an amazing, amazing job on the developer experience side. Highly recommend go checking it out. You should probably also check out Ceramic, especially if you're doing dynamic document updates. I think they just recently launched their mainnet. It's super, super cool. And if you're doing anything around private encrypted data, definitely look at the kind of pioneering work they've been doing around DAG Jose, and they've been like really pushing things forward there. Also bring in a lot of the decentralized identity part that many application builders want to utilize. And so go check that out. Again, there's so many of these that I could just go on and on. Definitely check out Truffle if you're doing anything you want to be kind of testing within their amazing developer tools like Ganache. And of course, MetaMask. I feel like their Phil Snap is like almost going from developer beta to like actual open access usage. But if you're aiming for the lightweight ease of use of a MetaMask integration, there's a Filecoin Snap for you. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention Web3 Storage, which you're going to actually get a whole talk about right after this from Alan. But awesome, easy new storage layer for all of your favorite Web3 assets to store them really, really easily. This is it's an aggregator and a broker in Falcon network terms, which means that it helps take many, many, many small files or like app data objects and aggregate them into Filecoin deals. And it does deal management, deal brokering on behalf of all of these clients. And then it gives you back all of the information that you need about what deal all your data is stored in and how long it's going to be persistent in the network and all of that sort of stuff. And it's super easy. I think the record is, I'm sorry if I'm stealing Alan's thunder, 56 seconds from sign up to having stored their first file on Falcon. So that's amazing. Talk about developer kind of throughput in terms of being able to have just like a drop in place solution to then move on to all of the exciting hard stuff when it comes to building applications on Web3. So I'll not steal any more of Alan's thunder, but definitely go check this out. Okay, next space, NFTs. NFTs are like my favorite thing, especially when they're cats. But there's so much cool stuff happening here. I'm sure there's a massive community here in the hackathon who are building cool new things in the NFT space or cool new things in the NFT gallery museum space. Super cool. The metaverse is meeting Web3 and I'm so excited about it. But NFT.storage should be your best friend. It's really easy to use. You can store NFTs up to 32 gigabytes per NFT, which I haven't met anyone yet who needs to blow past that limit, but maybe it'll happen. In which case, split it into multiple. Use Web3.storage. Perfect. But definitely come check out NFT.storage. It's a super useful tool. It helps you be protected from things like rug pulls, lost NFTs, insecure links, size limits from other tools, all of that sort of stuff. And I think we just crossed, actually, sorry, my slide's out of date. We just crossed 2 million NFTs stored on NFT.storage. Many of them are coming from Ethereum, but they're also coming from places like Polygon and other places. And definitely go give it a try. It is almost as easy as Web3.storage. Maybe it's easier, I'm not sure, but it's amazing. So go give it a try. This has been used by folks like OpenSea to do their freezing metadata feature that they launched a month and a half ago or so. And there's a lot of great content here about how you can use IPFS and Filecoin to kind of support the really critical parts of addressing and persistence for NFTs, so we can make sure that this collective cultural work that we are building in this NFT collection across all of these amazing creators will be here 2, 5, 10 years from now, and all of those NFTs kind of stick around and stay super accessible. And yeah, just a reminder to folks that rug pulls are a real thing, and definitely use IPFS, use Filecoin to make sure that your data stays around long term. My last and third area is around photo, video, and data archives and the amazing applications you can build around this. Actually, Audius is another great example of this, where it's all of this amazing audio content that's being kind of minted in a way on the Ethereum blockchain and stored on IPFS and I believe Filecoin at this point. Another great example of someone who's building around this is Internet Archive. They're bringing a number of their kind of like archives of amazing, talk about humanity's most important content, most important data that we've amassed, bringing this to Falcon as part of the Falcon Archives project. And I think that's really exciting here. I feel like there's actually a lot of opportunity for builders. There's fewer developer tools here. So that means there's an opportunity for building tools, both for developers and for these large storage clients, to make sure that all of this data can move smoothly around in the Web3 ecosystem, because we're talking big data here. We're talking petabyte data sets. And so it gets exciting. But that's also a huge opportunity. Really kudos to Jim for building this visualization, but there's a huge opportunity to apply the marketplace example from NFTs to large data sets as well. As I mentioned, there's 8 exabytes of capacity. There's a ton of storage providers who are really looking for how they can bring their storage capacity to bear on humanity's most important content, and doing the matchmaking between large clients who have petabyte data sets and large storage providers who really want to put their capacity to use. It is a new opportunity, just like the marketplace between a NFT creator and an NFT collector. And so I would be excited to chat with any group who's looking at this intersection and wants to build kind of an auction house for data sets or tools for enabling the kind of interaction between these two groups. I think this is a really exciting space. I know a number of large storage clients who are like, wow, the 10x multiplier for storing large data, I would pay a hefty penny for that. And so if you are excited about this, there may be a lot of opportunities for you as kind of a broker or clients to build. An idea for people who are building on top of such data sets is the work that the Starling Foundation or Starling has been doing with the USC Shoah Foundation, for example, with their photographic archive of trust, which documents the 2020 primary election, I believe. It's beautiful. It's like this great overview of kind of how they used kind of on-device capture of metadata, storing, like chunking this data, storing it to Filecoin, and then visualizing it from a user perspective so that anyone who's browsing kind of content in, I believe it was Reuters, in kind of like the Reuters UI, can see where images were taken and verify that kind of the custody supply chain of that data so that they can increase their trust in media. I think this is a really cool example, and it really builds on top of this kind of checkpointed use of a distributed storage network and the verification of the proofs of storage, really using Falcon there to show, yes, this is the exact content addressed that's been stored here over time and can be persisted long-term in a way that everyone can verify. And so I think this concept of verifiable storage is a really interesting idea that a lot of kind of large archives or kind of large data set communities may find really exciting, so that you can kind of look at these continuous audits that data has been publicly stored, verified, and stays available. And I think there's a lot of opportunity around that. I'm almost out of time, so I'll just give you a quick preview into a couple of things that are really exciting that are coming next. I already mentioned NFT.storage and Web3.storage, but it's still new that you can store up to 32 gigabytes per NFT. So go and take advantage of that. Would love to see some video NFTs or metaverse NFTs or other really cool things that are being kind of built and stored here, and definitely make use of Web3.storage, which is brand new off the presses. Another new area that's coming up is this kind of cheap, fast, verifiable storage through things like the bridge work that Textile has been doing, and also some of the work that's kind of in the works around content indexing. So you might have heard about CarV2 if you pay really close attention to the Filecoin ecosystem, but there's a lot of work happening to make sure that all storage deals that get stored on Falcon are also indexable and accessible through IPFS gateways. And so a lot of work is happening there. Get excited about it. Should have some more information in the next couple of months. Third, there's a new FIP that you should check out. I know people here probably don't spend a lot of time thinking about FIPs. I spend a lot of my time thinking about Falcon improvement proposals, and it's super exciting. It can make storing data and deal making like hundreds of X faster, cheaper, easier, and it really unlocks all of the storage capacity that storage providers have amassed so far, so that you can make deals for, you know, hundreds of petabyte archives really, really quickly. And that's super exciting, and it just brings the accessibility of this technology. So if you're going to be building something for the next month, think about how you can kind of parallel that work with some of the new FIPs that are landing here as well, and how you can take advantage of them. And finally, this is an area I'm super, super excited about, is really opening up Filecoin actors in many ways to more developers as well, bringing things like EVM smart contracts into Filecoin. This is still in super early days from a design perspective. Go check out the FIP issue if you want to kind of contribute your 2 cents, or if you have a lot of expertise with the ins and outs of Solidity and have a lesson or two to share. But I'm really excited to make all of the storage in Filecoin programmable and accessible through kind of a smart contract layer there as well, so that we can script things like the concept of repair miners that just automatically on the Filecoin blockchain make additional storage deals to globally end up with many redundant copies of your data, and much more. So much is going to be interesting here from a DeFi perspective as well, which is like a DeFi, but with Falcon. Anyways, there's a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm so excited to see what you all build, because there's an amazing community here, and I know that folks are gonna just blow everyone away. So with no further ado, get building, and I'll hand it off to Alan to talk to you more about Web3 Storage and how you can build on top of that. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter or on Falcon Slack, Momac28 on Twitter, Momac2 on Falcon Slack, and happy to chat more.